Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the South Bay Syndicate. We are doing a live stream today. On Sunday, we're going to be doing a draft and then some gameplay off the draft with some members of the South Bay Syndicate. We have set up here on Yamos, the site we use for drafting. We're just waiting for a few more members to get in. While we wait for that, we'll talk through what the site does and why it's so great for prepping for things like PQs or for the regional Milwaukee that we headed to in a few weeks. You can see here on the site, you can create a draft with 3 to 8 players. We have an 8-player draft we're looking forward to building out. And then once the draft is complete, you can click into it to see your draft pool and build your deck. You can also go look at the draft log, which I think is an amazing feature where you can see all of the picks from each of the players in the draft, and it records the historic one, so you can go back and look again. This is a draft we did a couple nights ago. You can see the leaders you had to choose from, where you ended up, and then from each pack, what you ended up picking in what order. And you can even click around and look what other people picked in the order that they did to get an idea of how people are thinking about drafting and what you can expect. Just an amazing tool for your preparation. And then once you build a deck and you select a leader and a base, you can copy that deck to clipboard. You can go over to Carabast or over to SWDB and you can put in your draft deck. So here's my draft deck from that piece, and then you can create games on Carabast with your friends. If you go into a private lobby, you can set it to private, and then what it lets you do is do open, and you can change the card list from 50 to 30, and that's how you can practice with your draft or even your sealed deck. So if we look in here, the other option it does is it lets you generate a sealed pool. And in here, you get your 6 leaders and then your packs. And then you can practice building out sealed pools based on what you get. You can sort by cost. You can see here all the 1 into 2 drops and so on. And you can start to think about what kind of a deck you'll build out if this were to be a sealed tournament that you're in. And then if you have others do it as well and they build their sealed decks, you can then play on Carabas in the same way we just talked about for the draft. So very cool tool, excellent for practice and just for having fun with people. You can see here we're up to 8 players in our draft, so we'll get started shortly. I'm just double checking to make sure everyone is in there and ready to go. It looks like we are, so excited to do that. So we're going to start the draft, and once you start it, what you see is you see everyone get their leaders. So we hit start. And here you can pick from your leaders. I think in this case, what I'll do is I'll be picking Leia. I think it could be the strongest leader that you can start with. So I'm going to select Leia as my pick. And so we are underway on the draft. And here we go. So I'm excited. Leia is a great start. Should be an excellent way for me to look at the draft. And then what you can see is you can view all the leaders. So one of the things you want to do before drafting is really understand what's around you. So you look who's passing to you. I believe in this scenario, Zombie is passing to me. So I would look where Zombie is. So I would get one of these leaders, most likely Villain Red. So I feel very comfortable taking this hero. And then I'm guessing the C3PO makes it to me. So I'll have a villain option. Definitely makes Leia the right choice here. And then we kind of go from there. And we're waiting for the rest of our people to pick. And then we'll be able to go to our next round. Very cool. We did not put a timer on it this time because we know people are newer to this. We wanted to make sure they had a chance to take a look and get their picks on it. One of the things with the draft is you can't really see your picks, so we're going to make sure we hide ours. You're not really supposed to see your picks between in a competitive setting. We're just waiting on other people to finalize their picks. Hopefully, they're in the Discord chatting. Hopefully, they're able to figure it out. And we're just kind of in a kind of a stall mode, so we'll talk a little bit more about if we were building this sealed piece while we wait on everyone else to finish their picks. I think in this case, Sly is a very good leader, and so is Yularen, and then our other ones are not. So that's probably where we'd lean. So let's check our green pool to see how strong it could be. We like this attachment here, some good top end. Let's check our yellow pool. This looks like it could be decently strong as well. And then red, I think, is generally the strongest pool out there. You can see some good top end, so that could be a good complementary piece. And then hopefully we got some villain cards. You can see not too much. Let's head back to our draft. Uh, Still waiting on people to pick their leaders. We'll see what the delay is here. Just checking in with everyone. It could be some of the people in the room. It's their first time using it, so there could be a slight delay there. I'll also go back to our sealed pool here. We're just gonna check our hero side. Actually, really strong hero with bow and Jedi Squadron, and then here. So for fun, let's see what a 3PO deck would look like as we build it out. It's probably blue based on what we're seeing. Some nice 4-drops. Interesting curve out with the 6s here. You probably don't end up with the bow, but we'll just put it in there just to see what it looks like. Very nice on the 6. So here we want tapped units, so 1 cost for a 3PO is not bad. He's not your ideal leader, but you can still do something with him. The Lone Shark is also pretty good. And then we'll see on the blue side some more pieces to tap, which can be very nice. And more 1-drops. This would have been a great Leia deck as we look through all of the options here. And then actually blue has a couple of 5 and 6 drops. So you're starting to get a pretty decent pool going. And you see we're already at 29. This is a great card as well. And so you can see actually there's a pretty decent hero blue yellow. I don't know if that's the right color in general with 3PO, but it's something. And you have some strong top end as well. And we go back to our draft. Okay, we're on to our second pick. I think Dedra is a useful leader, so we will go ahead and select Dedra there. And now we're looking at Leia and Dedra as 2 great choices, and we view the leader pool. We imagine that 3PO, if we remember earlier, is going to get passed over to us. If we had to guess, the leader pool is cut off a little bit, but you can see at the top here I am. So we're feeling pretty good about our 2 picks so far, and then there's 3PO. So we're starting to move along, and then we get our first pack. So in a draft, I'll be passing to my left. If I look at the leaders, they have a Dedra, Amon, and then over here I'm getting pass cards. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm passing here, and this person's passing cards to me. So better chance they're doing villain and they're doing villain, so I have opportunity to get some good cards right away as we look at this pack. The Cornet jumps out to us. It's so strong. So we're going to go ahead and make that our first pick. We're very excited about that. I think that's going to be a great one for us. And then let's see what's going on. We do have some people in chat. Richard, how's it going? Oh, yeah. So, no, not yet. So, we're going to get 1 pack at a time passed over to us. And then we're going to make selections from there. You do 3 rounds of that. And you're in a competitive play, you cannot look at your cards between. Appreciate the question. Live drafting is super interesting. We don't get a lot of practice with it, but it's really fun. So now we're waiting for everyone to make their first round picks. In a more competitive live draft for this, you can set timers like 30 seconds between picks. And so we have our second pick here. We have to remember what we drafted before. We're pretty, we got a Cornet. I think Leia is going to end up being a good choice. So drafting blue is pretty safe because we know we're going to play blue. We don't know yet what else beyond that. But I think in this case, We are going to go with the Rotund Guard. It starts as a Sentinel. We can boost him up, so we're going to make that our next pick. And then we'll wait for our next pack. So we're feeling pretty good so far about our picks. I think they're very strong. And let's see what we get next. So it definitely moves, I think, very quickly when you have the 30-second timer. And then in this case, it can move a little bit slower as everyone kind of goes through their picks. There is a sector in France right now. If you go find their video, you can actually see they show one of the live draft pieces. You can just see them going through the different cards, making their selections. Super interesting. In our case, for the upcoming regional we're going to, if you make day 2, you do a draft again there, and then if you make top 8, you do a third draft. So getting that practice in can be super helpful. One of the things we're thinking about right now is we don't have any early plays, right? We haven't seen any 2-drops. We could go with the Warrior or the Contraband Starhopper. They're both good in Leia because they allow you to have a single aspect to activate our value. Now we could also go with the Null Say, but I feel like that could last. So I think we're going to take a Warrior here just to make sure we have a 2-drop. Having enough 2-drops and starting your game correctly can be so important in the draft in general, in sealed and draft. So grabbing them here and making sure coming out of our first pack we feel comfortable with our curve can be helpful. And we get our next pack. Synth is actually an interesting plot card if we go red on either side because it comes out with Leia's deploy. And these 5 and 6 drops are not as good, but these right here are very strong. These 1-drop Leia cards are some of the strongest cards that you can get with her because they're easy to pump up. So we kind of have to make a choice here. Do we want the Cinta for plot or do we want to go here? We did draft a red card already. Let's go with Cinta for now, and then we can decide later if we want to switch it and go yellow if we feel like the pool is playing out that way. The site works great. We've been testing it now for a few days and very happy with it. Definitely check it out in the link, and it's good for both draft with a group or for sealed practice on your own. You can create your sealed pools. We were kind of showing that between these, but in the sealed one, you get your leaders and you can create your pool, and then you can easily once you select, say this was a 3PO1, you could copy it to the clipboard and then load it into Carabas and play sealed. We go back here. We have drafted some red so far. We have also grabbed one drop there, and now we're seeing a second Skyhopper. We're seeing these things. So yellow could be the choice as well. For now, we're going to grab a second Rotund Guard. Right. So we've gotten 2 Rotund Guards if we're remembering. Remember, you cannot check until it's between packs. We've gotten 2 4s and a 5, a 1 cost, and a 2 cost so far. So we're right now in red blue, but we have seen a few 1-drop yellow, and we want to think about if those are going to keep coming. Do we want to pivot to the blue yellow? Yeah, so definitely check out the link for this site. It works great. I think it's fans of Star Wars, they're developers that are building these out in their free time, which we really appreciate, and then the community can use for all of their prep. All right, let's see what we get next in our next pack. So if you're following along here, we're in pack 1. This was our 6th pick, and we are waiting for the rest of the group. We do see one other Leia here, and then I could imagine a Jabba coming out of here. Some interesting choices. A nice Sly, only Sly here. So think about a lot of the yellow is going to get eaten up there at some point. And our next pack here, some blue cards, which is good. Armor of Fortune is interesting because we can plot it out and buff Leia up even more. We could grab the Covert Operative for capture and buffing. So I think we're going to do that for now as we continue to build out our units that we can buff with Leia's ability. And it's neutral, so not bad for us. I have only seen it with a fixed group so far. So on in our side, in our Discord, we just reached out and said who wants to draft today, and put together a group. There are other sites that let you fill in with bots, but this one you can pick three, four, five, six, seven, or eight people, but you have to fill that with eight. And it doesn't. I don't. I have not seen a random feature yet. We'll take diplomatic immunity here. We may have the disclose, and then it's a nice little boost attachment. One of the drafts I did was with people across different discords, so you can definitely reach out in the communities and find people. Um, and then you can always jump into our Discord. We'll be testing this out more and more. So an interesting thing is happening right now, right? As we go through, we're not really seeing cards that fit within our deck. Outside of maybe this relief request, if you think about the Sentinel 4-drop, where it only has Sentinel if it's not uh, taking any damage, this can create an opportunity where you can make it Sentinel again. So we'll grab that because it could come up in play. Oh, awesome! Excited to see you in there. Yeah, we have a draft channel in there, and then I think right now, if you went in there, there's a bunch of the group talking together while they're drafting. I didn't jump in there because I didn't want it to interfere with the stream portion, but it sounded like they were having fun. I walked by earlier. For me here, I think this I probably won't end up playing it, but I'll draft it because it's something I can put in the deck, can build up over time if it lives. So why not? All right. Oh, all right. We are. This is an interesting pool. What don't we want people to get? So now I don't think there's any card in particular that we want or need. So now we're thinking about what could be helpful for someone else. We are passing to Zombie. Um, Zombie has Yularen and Jabba, and actually this card can be very good for them. So we're gonna go ahead and basically draft it to prevent someone else from getting it. We're a little weak in space right now as well, so that keeps them off of space. And then once we finish our next couple of picks, we'll be able to look at what we've drafted so far, and we'll kind of decide if we like where we're at, if we might need to pivot to another color. We'll go ahead and take this 5 cost upgrade you play each phase as one less. I think we've grabbed at least one upgrade so far. It's more of just a body at this point, but could become something more. We're going to continue to build out. We got another relief request, so I think we talked through how that could end up being valuable for us. So we'll take another one. I don't know that both make the deck, but at least we have them in case we need them. And then we're just going to get whatever the last card is. And actually, that's a great card for us. That's a playable card. We're lucky to have that. So we'll select it. And now we'll look at our picks. So we did a pretty good job, I think, staying within the blue red. We actually haven't done too much of a commitment to a specific uh like hero or villain. So you could pivot here to Dedra if you wanted to, if you felt like that was the case. We have the Cornet. And we are looking at this and we definitely need more in our curve. So let's look at our next pack. Our next pack is more villainy than hero. Like if we were going to pivot, I think you could see some of those cards here. I think Sudden Ferocity is very good either way. This Anno Commission, we're hoping for it to come back around. Sentinels can be very powerful. So we'll take the Sudden Ferocity here as a nice plot card. And then we will see what we get from there. Hopefully people are enjoying it. Kind of fun. We got a group from our Discord all drafting together right now, and then once we draft, we'll build out a deck, and then we'll play some of the other members of the draft on Carabas. So hoping that we can find some lower to the ground cards to continue to build off of. Some more one drops would be great. And this time around, we have zombie passing to us and then us to Logray. So we expect a lot of hero cards being passed to us this time, whereas last time, if he was building out Mon Mothma, maybe he's stealing a lot of what we're looking for. So hopefully the zombie sees a lot of great hero cards he doesn't need and passes them over. All right. And so in our second pack here, we see some more one drops that are pretty good for us. I think in this case, what we will want is the Outer Rim Constable. I think the Senate can be a good choice because you can disclose and get additional tokens on units. We also could get another warrior. But you end up seeing a lot of attachments in this realm, and this is also could be good. So we're going to go with the Constable. And there's another 2-drop for us. So the green villain is going to be very happy here, right? This is a great pack for them. Dedra is good. Whoever ends up with that will be pretty happy. And as we look at this, not a lot of choices for us. The Nimble Prowess can be good. This 4-drop could be okay. I think we'll actually take the Nimble Prowess because being able to tap a unit and adjust the tempo of the game can be very strong. And so that's going to be our pick there. And we'll pass over to Logray at Dedra and see if that's what they end up taking. We don't have a lot of space here. When played, we can draw a card off a reveal. That could be very helpful. This Grassroots Resistance, also very nice. We're going to grab this to make sure we have units. And I do think that going yellow might have been beneficial. I think we've seen a few more cards in that aspect that would have helped us out. When we look at the leader pool, maybe there's only 2 Slies drafting yellow, so we should have looked at that more closely and realized there's only a couple of yellow leaders. And maybe even we need to pivot now as we take a look at what's coming. We have a lot of blue cards we can use. And here, this pack is something with not a lot in... Actually, this is a great card for us. This 1 cost, this is what we want to see, is more of these. We also like the Armor of Fortune, but I think the 1 cost and the Strike are great. So hopefully the Strike makes it back around as well. Oh, the B2 is also a great card here. So is the Jade Squadron and another Grassroots. Okay, so we're starting to see some cards. We'll take the B. The reason that this is good is it's a 1 cost. It's a 0/4 with Restore. You can also disclose to give Sentinel, but with Leia on turn 1, you can play it, and then you can immediately pump it. I don't think we have a lot of top end or Sentinels. I think we prefer the Sentinel here, but actually, let's go with the 6/5 because we want to get to that range. And this is another good one for us. It's a plot card that goes perfectly with Leia and protects her. This Retaliation is really good. It's one of the only removals that you can get. See, and there's the Head Slicer. So yellow is very strong here. I think someone is going to end up with a great pool of cunning cards based on what we're seeing. And again, I think if we had taken a step back to look at the leaders before we started drafting, we might have leaned more heavily towards the cunning aspect. But overall, I don't think we're going to be unhappy with our pool. Here's another good card here. We'll take our Plot Attachment. Can protect our leader, can also be used for a Sentinel we might get out there. Just a lot of different opportunities for that. And now we have a few different plot options. We could Sudden Ferocity plus the armor, or we could bring out our new tank. And here we have a few cards that we can choose from. I think in this case, defeat all non-unique. This can be a great counter in the mirror match. We did see at least one other Leia, so I think we could go here. This is also a good choice. This isn't bad, and then the moral authority capturing can be powerful. But we'll go with this 3-drop right into our next card. We're actually going to take this to take the pump away from somebody else. I think there's a lot of green around us. So we're going to go ahead and grab that one to prevent them from pumping. And only a few more picks in this round, and then we get one more pack to build from, and we'll see what happens there. Okay, so again, if we were playing cunning, this would have been a nice pick. This as well. I think some draw a card if we need help on our 3-drop. We can go ahead and grab this just to have it. I don't know that it'll make the final deck, but we definitely have a lot of cards that we're building towards. Ooh, excited to see what we can build from it. I think that Leia is super interesting. Very definitely the most powerful leader, I think, in the sealed side, and then on this side of it, you can also do a lot of damage if you can get the right mix of cards. I think we have a lot of cards that will allow for us to use the ability, a lot of singular aspect pieces, which is nice. And then we just need to make sure once we get through this round that our curve looks right. I don't think either of these cards will be used by us. We do have a lot of upgrades though, so we'll go ahead and grab that. And then this falling to us is amazing. This is the card we almost took with our first pick this round. We'd love to have that. That's a very nice card. So now we can look at our picks so far. We can sort it by cost, and you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 1 cost, 1, 2, 3, 2 costs. So 6 cards, not really great. Decent high end. We have 4 6 costs, 2 5s, a bunch of 4s. Not a lot of 3 either. So as we look here, we're looking to build in that 3+ range. A Papa's Advisor might be one of the best cards you can get with Leia. Can create Sentinel, you can pump it. It's also a 1 cost, which we really needed. So I'm going to grab that. This Lando here is super interesting. We already have some strong top end, so I don't know if it's the right pick. We did talk about the need for more 3 and 4 costs, and I think this is an opportunity for us to take the heroic arc. The Lando at 7 is like a game finisher, so we have to think about that, and that's tough. This 3 cost actually is the right choice, I think. We don't have a lot of 3s, so we're going to go with that. But there's a lot. Oh, sorry, let's hide this. Didn't mean to have that show still. So we made our pick. We have a couple of 3-drops now. We got a 1-drop, which really helped. We were worried there. I think another 4-drop would be great. And then if that Lando makes it back to us, I think we grab it then. What a couple of great packs to start. And now, again, Logray is passing to us, and we're passing to Zombie. So when we look there, depending on what Logray is doing, he might grab a lot of the neutral red. He could be grabbing the officials. And then Kylo Hen also looks like he could be, just depends what they decided to do. But that means that Logray passed us the Lando, so if it makes it back to him, maybe we see it again. And getting Nemec here is pretty powerful. So is the Rebellious Functioner. I think that one has more likely to get passed again. And Aggressive Negotiation is like a game ender, so I can't imagine what people were picking to pass these along. And I actually think Aggressive Negotiation is slightly better than the Nemec here, and then we'll hope to get this later. So we're going to take the Aggressive Negotiation. Even out of aspect, I think it's one of the better cards in the draft and can be just what you need to finish it off in a tight match. Can also help you trade up into something that's in your way. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay. A lot of good cards for us again. We took a 3-drop earlier. We don't have a lot of space, so I think another 4-drop in space. We have one of these already. This can help us double down, and then maybe we'll get this retaliation on the turn. This 3-drop is also very good. One upgrade on it. The upgrade can't be defeated. It's just a protection. Excuse me. We'll take the heroic arc. Okay. So as we look at this 6-drop restore could be powerful. I think I prefer this Sentinel now as some protection that we can boost. And it would be interesting if we had this round 3 pack in the first round. There are a lot of cards that make a lot of sense for us all across this pack. So I'm excited. Hopefully a few of them make it back around. We had gone into this round thinking we needed more 3 and 4 costs. We have grabbed them and decent ones in each of the packs so far. So feeling pretty good about that. And now I see here another heroic arc, kind of wishing I took the other card in that pack, but I'm going to take a second one because now I'll have 2 in space, which will allow me to go into another arena mid-game. And if I have a damaged unit, it'll also allow me to do some damage to my opponent. So double heroic arc feels pretty good. And in almost every card in our deck can be disclosed to pump it, which is also pretty valuable. We haven't really seen anything off aspect we can use. A Beguile would be nice. That capture attachment maybe would have been a good play now that we're seeing how we're playing out. But we couldn't have imagined after the first 2 packs that we would start to see all the mid 3, 4, 5 drop pieces. And I think if we see a 5-drop that's powerful, that'll be our next pick. And as we say that, we do see a 5-drop 5/5, not the most powerful, but definitely something we can use. And then I think what we're hoping for is to see that Lando again, right? We're going into our 8th pick, which should be our first pack again. We're thinking that Lando would be very nice. The Lando is not there. But this Grassroots is. So is another tank, which is a 6 cost, and then also another ship in space. So a lot of good things, just not the Lando. I think that we will actually take this 1-drop because that's basically a 2/4, right? Okay. We get this. Defeated damage unit isn't bad. This Hunter, not that we'll be able to play it at 8, but could be interesting as a top end. So actually we'll grab it just in case. I don't know that we'll use the Hunter, but having that on the top end feels like it could be valuable. Let's see what we get from our last 5 picks, and then we'll be able to start to build our deck. Oh, another heroic arc, huh? We already have one of these attachments. We have a relief request. This is very interesting, I think, end. 3 heroic arcs in this cycle. When we go back and look at the logs, we'll definitely probably think about what we could have drafted otherwise. But also now we're thinking about our 4-drop. Our 4-drop is a Sentinel on the ground or a 4 power in space, and that's going to be a really nice turn for us to be able to do some damage. Okay, so if you remember this was the Karis pack. We were hoping that this rebellious functionary would make it back to us because it's a 3/3 in Leia. You play it for 1, you add a token to it, and that's your first turn. You have a 3/3, and so that was great because I think now we're starting to build out a decent number of 1 costs, which will help our first turn a ton and allow us to avoid having to play some of the weaker 2 costs that I think we had to pick up. And this Wilro, which can become a 3/6, is nice. And then it has its ability. There are a couple other attachments we might want to put on it as well. And so I think 1 7 costs would be great here. I don't know what it is, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. I think we'll take this ship to make sure someone else doesn't get it. And then we're down to our last pick, so it's going to be whatever card it is. That Hunter maybe will make it into our deck as a top end. We did get our 6/6 Sentinel in space last time. I'm not sure we'll get that lucky again, but we'll see what Logray passes us. Okay. The 2-cost ship. So maybe people aren't playing Heroic Cunning, because that's an interesting one to make it all the way back around. Okay. So once the draft is done, you can see your leaders on the left along with their bases, and then all of the cards you drafted. You have the opportunity to sort this however you want. I'm going to sort by cost. I think we know we're going Leia, right, based on our draft. So let's put in our 1 cost. We got, how many 1-cost units do we end up with? 5. So that's like, oh, 6. Okay. So in theory, there are 6 turn 1 that we can boost. That's great. I'm pretty happy with that. And the warrior and the constable, I think, are good alternative options, which means we won't need the ASP laborer or anything along that. We do know that nimble prowess will also make it in the deck, so we'll make sure to add that in. On the 3-cost front, we ended up with a number of decent options here. I think the official can be good because we have a lot of other officials. This can be good as a plot or just played out. Another official that can ready something. And then Wilrow, I think we were lucky to grab towards the end there. So we like our 3 drops as well, plus sudden ferocity and aggressive negotiation feel really powerful. Also on the 2-drop, we have the Arm of Fortune and the diplomatic immunity. We'll come back to that if we don't need it. Right here, we've got some strong sentinels plus a capture card, and then another sentinel and 3 space units. So we ended up with way more 4 drops than we were thinking about. We picked up a lot that turn, and then on 5 we have our cornet and our two guys here. So 5 is definitely our weakest one. 6, we ended up with a decent number of pieces as well. We're just kind of going through and adding everything that makes sense, and we're at 32. So not bad at all. Hunter as a 8-cost could be interesting. These relief requests could be interesting for our guy here. And as we go through, we kind of have to decide how we want to trim it back down. But you can see how quickly this deck comes together with a nice curve, because being under curve slightly at some points here, not having as many 5s is okay, because what you have is a lot of 4s that you can then boost up. We do like all of our 4s here. I don't know that we need 3 heroic arcs, but they could be powerful. On the 3-drop front, if this dies, what officials can we bring out early? We can bring out these or the inner rim, so that's not bad. The diplomatic immunity while this unit is attacked. So that's pretty good if we can get it on one of our sentinels, so we will keep that. That can be strong. The warrior might not end up making. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I think the warrior ends up making it. So maybe we won't rely on Hunter as an end game. And we'll think about, this is a lot. Maybe this guy here as another. I think we like the other ones better, so we'll take him out. We will try to get down to, oh, I thought we took Hunter out. Sorry. Right. So one more card. We like the nimble prowess. Yeah. Okay. So pretty good here. Just looking to get one more card out. We like most of what we have here. This might not be the right card, but we're going to leave it in because I think the 1-drop curve is pretty powerful. Spying center for 3. We have so many. So let's go with 2 of these for now to bring it down. So then this would be our deck. We would copy it to the clipboard. We'd go here, uh, paste from clipboard on the JSON. And what is this? This is a SBS draft 2.1 Leia. We don't want that listed. We'll save it. And then you can go in and easily update everything as well, right? It does a good job of bringing all the cards over. You can look at it in a deck link here. And then what we can do is we go into Carabast. Like we said, we make a 30 card private lobby. And then we can create a game and we'll make it a best of 3. And then what we end up doing is you left the previous game. I did? All right. I don't know what game I left because I wasn't in a game, but sometimes that happens. So let's try private. There's our deck. Okay, well, wait a minute. We'll go into Discord, see who's doing what. Looks like we got Logray looking for a game. Oh, he's already in a game. Okay, so my Discord or my Carabas is being weird. Okay, so we're able to create a game. We'll throw the lobby in here. And we'll see who wants to play. It'll be interesting. We'll be able to do best 3. So if we think we want some of these other cards like the draw, the extra space, we'll be able to do that. Just getting a game. And then while we're waiting for a game, once you've done all of this, what you can go back and do. There we go. You can go back and you can look at your draft log. And we can go back through and see what we did. We can click other people's logs and see what they did as well. Pretty fun. All right, and we got a game with Logray, so we'll jump in and see how they drafted and what we're going to be playing against.
Kick me out of the game. Let's find a phone.
I don't know how that happened. All right, he's got a Mon Blue. I win the flip, and I'll take it. So here we have some 1-drop options that we can boost into others. So we're going to keep this. The covert op could be good. I think we won't need both 1-drops. I think I actually like that healthy one better. I'll go like this. Play here. We need to keep track of what we're holding in our hand to make sure that we have disclose for what we're trying to do. And here we feel pretty good about this. We're going to play out Wilro. We're going to see what they play. Sure. I think we'll be able to clear their board this next turn. We're going to disclose here, and we're going to be able to play it and do some work. And we'll see what they play. We have not played any plot yet as we look through what we're doing. This is nice. We'll be able to clear something out. We can capture. We're going to go ahead and we're going to need that. Now we'll be good. Yeah. We can disclose any of these for all these, so. Kill that off. We haven't really seen our sentinels yet. The things we're looking for there. They're able to do something. So we can decide. Let's see, they'll do 3 damage. We don't care that much. Okay, we're going to go ahead and claim. Okay. Take 1 out. We do have Leia coming out this turn. Sure. They have Shadow Crawler. Have to give something Sentinel. We'll call that off. And they've done a good job, I think, messing with our tempo with all of their Sentinels. We'll just get our units out, get some restore going. Just some ways to deal with them. This is the right one here. We're working to try and take out. We knew they had the Shadow Crawler, so we're not super worried about that. We will just be clearing each other's boards out now. Sure. Oh, actually, I meant to undo. Sorry. Sorry, I have to do that in the right order. There we go. We'll start swinging the base. A couple of Sentinels on the ground for us is nice. And we'll see if we can stabilize. They had a really strong showing, and then we're going to see if we can stabilize and get the close out the game here. Definitely the perfect card for them. They've had a lot of, I think, the exact right answers, which has been good for them. We're going to keep trying to fight back. A double Shadow Crawler is very strong. And I think they have us here. because we have to claim. We did not get there. So they got the first game. I think great job by them. Uh, a lot to battle through, and that's how it goes. So we think about what we put in the resourcing here. I'm not sure any of this makes a difference. So we're going to go ahead and ready and go to game two. Here we do not have a turn one, so we're going to go ahead and mulligan and see what we can get. I believe Logray is typing in what happened. I'm not sure what they're asking. But ooh, okay. We have a lot of options here. I think we'll put the inspiring down. I think we can go a little wide. Let's build out our sentinel. I think this could be very good. Oop. What did we put down already? We put that down. Now we have double plot. Sure. Play the noble prowess. We'll go ahead and tap that down. We'll disclose. We'll get another unit down. No, we'll pass. We're gonna need some disclosed pieces here. I think in this case we can go here into our sentinel on the ground. If they hit the base, this becomes a sentinel. Sure, we don't care about that. That's fine. Lone shark. Yeah, I think we're okay with this. They can trade. Double lone shark is good there. I think that's fine with us. We'll boost our stuff up. Swing to base. We'll go ahead and keep that. I think here we're flipping. What are we flipping here? I think we're flipping our sentinel. Yeah, I think we're deploying and we're playing our tank. We're going to make them have answers. He's commenting on the sentinels, which were his advantage last game. So that's how it goes. He claimed initiative. Sure. We'll get damage in the base, clear out some pieces. I think we'll level out here. The aggressive negotiation is big. That's what we expected. He had the shadow crawler. We'll continue to, I think, take units out. make units bigger. We'll take theirs out. We'll put something in space that'll be very difficult for them to have an answer for. The shadow crawlers, something. They can trade out here. I think we're okay with that because we're gonna go very wide in space now and make them have an answer. While healing. So I feel pretty good about where this is going. The Rex doesn't do much. And we're no longer going to be resourcing because we're going to pump. Right here is 10 damage, 11, and then another 5 is 16. So we have lethal in theory. We're one off lethal. So if we can get an attack in with the constable, we cannot. Okay. But we can put them in check. And now they have to have an answer in space or the game is over. Which they do not. We'll go ahead and claim. That should be the end. Yeah. So the aggressive negotiation, just to end the space, just allowed us to win in the while arena dodging. So good game to our opponent. We'll go to game 3. They have a very nice build, I think, with big sentinels on the green side, good officials, and we'll be able to put something together that curves out nicely and is able to disrupt while taking advantage of Mon's ability. I think here we will keep this. I think we like these plot cards being plot. We like the idea of this 3/3 to start. We have our blue card to continue to pump, which we will do. Okay. We're going to put the constable down. We haven't seen a single attachment from their side, so we'll immediately see one. No. Okay. Actually, do not mind them discarding cards. I think that could be, what does this do? To our benefit. If they keep discarding. They might have us exhaust a resource. We want to make sure we play a unit. We do like the Sentinel as well. I think we'll go here. If they decide to do that, we'll be able to kill Bale. And if they don't, we'll play... Sure. We'll play our Sentinel out. This is a tough card, I think. It's hard to imagine taking it. We'll disclose. And now we have an injured unit, which will activate the heroic arc as well, which we like. When we're thinking about our plot, I think we have enough plot for now. So we'll, this turn, we're most likely playing the heroic arc plus. So we'll put this down. We'll go from here. They can use that ability, no problem. We will take it out. Sure. We will play Cinta. We will trigger. We will disclose our friend here. We'll keep pumping Leia. And I think we end up putting the Sudden Frosty out here. So maybe that doesn't, that's fine. That's great. Awesome. We'll be able to play our own Sentinel next turn. Which we will do. And they can crash their worm into it. Yeah. No big deal for us. We'll take out their Sentinel. I think here we'll take out their worm. All right, we'll disclose this again. Yeah. And like last game, I think what we'll end up doing is starting to go heavy in space. We'll heal a damage. And yeah. So I think we're liking what we're seeing here. The heroic arc will kill off the senator if we need it to. We can add another token here. They have another worm. Good for them. We'll undo that. Yeah, we'll play our Sentinel out. We'll heal our base again. And we'll swing for 8 in space. Ooh. And we'll keep everything. And this should help us lock down, I think, whatever they're trying to do. We'll put that out of range of the senator. The healing there doesn't really matter to us. They can attack it and injure it, activating our heroic, which they do. And we'll swing for 10. And so I think all of our 4 drops in space ended up being pretty helpful. A 10 is pretty big, and we have 3 lethal threats, which should help us end the game. And we go ahead and swing. GG. So he was able to get the first game. I think he had a nice curve out with his Sentinels that we couldn't get past them. We were able to recover games 2 and 3 and go heavier into space. And so when we think about a lot of space. So when we think about the draft again, could we have gone yellow? I think yes. I think blue, and then we did the warrior here to make sure we had a 2-drop. We could have gone space with it even, or we could have gone blue again. And then it was really here where we could have started to pick up space more. The Cinta wasn't bad, but we could have grabbed the emissary. But then we would have maybe gone with the covert here, gone with the ground here, and the armor because we already had one, into the sneaking plot. So actually, and then here we would end up with space. So actually, it would have been pretty risky at that point. Still, I know we talked a lot about yellow, but here the sudden ferocity was great. And we could have started going loan sharks, which could have disrupted what he ended up doing. But overall, I think we ended up in a decent spot, and the space ended up being good. I might even in the rebuild, or as we're thinking about it, bring both of these space units in because we could see how impactful going space and building on 4 was. Maybe the Covart comes out for that. So I think very good games overall. Uh, Interesting to see the Mon deck. I think it played really well. Had a lot of ambushing into Sentinels, which created some difficulties for us, especially in game one. Let's see if anyone else is looking for games in our Discord. We do see one from 11:56. I don't know if they're still looking, but we'll click and see what's going on. Looks like no. So maybe we'll try and create a new one and see if anyone jumps in. Not that. Okay. I'm going to copy our deck link again. Go private. We'll make it a 30 card, and we'll see what happens. So a lot of interesting decks there. I think as we wait, we can take a look now at our opponent that we just had, which is Logray. Ended up with Mon Mothma over Dedra. So here he started right away with Bale, kind of signaling the option to go officials. He could have gone Beguile, which is really strong to keep his options open on color. But not that Bale's bad. I think Bale can be very good. Or he could have gone more neutral. If he still wanted to maybe go Dedra, I think going the red is okay too. And then I think he committed by this pick, right? Which is interesting because here he also had these amazing villain pieces. Now I know in his last draft he was Dedra, so it could have been that he just didn't want to do Dedra again. And we have a Sly Blue here. Should be exciting with Meaty. And we'll see we have no turn 1, which is unfortunate. So we'll mulligan. We do like some of the other cards we saw there, the Cornet especially. But let's see what we get against a Sly Blue. So we're not going to go look at the draft now. But okay, so here we at least have a 2-drop. We'll go ahead and put this down. We could see some upgrades, and we have our 1-drop, so not bad at all. The Coalition's much later. So actually here we're going to go with the Warrior because we can't disclose, right? We didn't draw anything to be able to disclose here. I think this is an easy trade for us. There's nothing for them to do yet. And then we're still not seeing anything to disclose, which is interesting how red we are. So I think we can put down the Rebel because there's not anything. Actually, now we can disclose the Arc. But we went with the Rebel and we'll keep this guy out. So this might make sense to do it the other way to keep the disclose options open. So I have to go back and look at that. But here we'll definitely take that out. To control that. We'll play our 3/4 without its ability because we decided to do that. We could have gone 3 to base and then readied it and gone to base again. I think we didn't want it to get there. So we'll go ahead and play this. And maybe they have... They're not playing red, so I'm not as worried about no glory. Well, let's see what they're going to do. They have Beguile. Okay. So we'll go ahead and bounce our 3-drop. We'll claim. I think we feel okay with that. Ooh, there's the Cornet. So we're really liking some of these pieces. We'll get our attack in here and disclose again. I don't think we'll end up playing a 3-drop, which is why we're doing it in this order. Because we'll probably take advantage of the restored arc and deal 2 damage to whatever they play. We will definitely be doing that. That is a very powerful card, and they get our plot. So we'll do 2 damage there. And then we'll pass. So very, very good card there. We now have the Nimble Prowess, which means we can tap the Sly, which will be beneficial. We have 2 Sentinels. So I think BMO goes down so that we can do it this way. So here we'll tap Sly, and then we'll trade here if the option comes. Or they'll tap ours, which looks like what's going to happen. Hmm. Sly's going to kill that for free, so we're thinking about that. We'll go ahead and tap. Which Sentinel do we want to play is the other thing we're thinking about. I think this one. We can actually play this to ready. Undo, sorry. What is this? 2 or less power. There we go. We'll play the right one. We'll play our Sentinel out. We'll be able to swing 4 into space. Sly will be able to not do anything. Never mind. Okay. We don't hate Cinta here. We can trade out this Elia. Oh, very nice. Okay. So let's just start taking out spies. Do we want the Cinta or do we want our Sentinels? I think we want our Sentinels. Because here we're going to be able to do a pump. Chancellor Palpatine's very strong there. Now I know why they delayed the Sly deploy. I definitely could have done that differently. Maybe I wanted to pump this up so that Sly couldn't kill it with its ability. But because it's a free kill, so just worth slowing down a little bit. You can see there that that happened. We'll keep pumping our Sentinel up. There could have been an argument to pump Leia up so that she would swing and kill Sly next turn, but they're going to tap our units down. We are going to play this guy. We're just going to put big units out. And I think the Cornet comes out next turn. And then we have a lot of restore going in space. Still a lot of space options to draw. And we're protected a little bit. We did not bring the Cinta out. I think we're still feeling okay with what we did. So they'll attack. Okay, so they'll attack in. He's got to pick where to put the damage. Sure, that'll allow us to get our attack in. And we're out of actions at this point. They play Grenadin. If they name Cornet, it'd be retaliation. Okay, that's fine. Probably thinking through what they saw in the draft. I do like all of these cards. Go ahead and kill that off. I think we're going to try to clear their board here. The sudden ferocity on Leia feels really good. And it costs one less. Yeah. We're happy to keep putting damage in. In fact, I think the sudden ferocity just goes here now, because swinging for 8 puts them in check. And because they attack with Sly more, they can't trade. So we just had to wait and sequence it out correctly. Go ahead and do that. And now they have to claim. And they have to have answers. Because what we'll be able to do, if they don't have an answer right away here, we'll be able to swing. They'll have to trade here, allowing us to swing here. And though we had the cornet, we never really played it. Ended up being, I think it would have been fine to play it in the air and get the restore, but what they have to do is swing the Vel here. Okay. So if you do attack with another unit, it gets +3 for this turn. Oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah. I don't have anything exhausted, so it's not. Sure. So I'll swing here. And Leia still represents lethal. You looking for a game?
It's still on the call.
Oh, I don't know what that. Why does that matter?
I don't know. It's just off.
Do you need help?
No, I'm gonna go check it out.
Oh, okay. Oh, you wanted to leave the call.
Yeah. Well,
All right. So we'll go game 2. I think these are powerful, so I'm gonna bring the other one back in. I don't know that we haven't been playing that, so we'll take that out. We'll go ahead and this one lets us do what? To just close the draw. No, I think we'll go ahead and yeah, we'll play it, and we'll take one of these out. We'll focus on that turn 4 pump. Let's see. What does our curve look like? We got our 2-drop into 3 into our 4, so we're gonna go ahead and keep this. We got our cornet again. I think if they have Grindin, they're probably naming it this time. Although I do like our Space Sentinel, so we'll go with this. So I'd love another 2-drop here. But I think instead we'll just get an attack. If we do a second attack though, we can't. It's 2 power. We'll weaken that. We don't have another official yet, but we could do some setup here at some point. Or actually, it might be better to. All right, they have a retaliation. Oh, okay. They have retaliation. We'll kill the clone. We'll get a sentinel down here. If this died, we could play this sentinel for 1 less, and then we could boost. I think we're very happy to control the board here. We'll have to think about retaliation, right? That's going to be a problem. We'll get our Sentinel out, followed by another Sentinel. Um, so we're slightly worried about the Garindan getting a Cornet. So we definitely want to try and play that right away. Because I do think that that is a great opportunity here. They can definitely exhaust. We have an official and a trooper, so options. Let's see if it's the Palp again. No, it's not. Okay. It could be the Gurindon and... Oh. We'll get our Cornet out. I think that's one of our most valuable cards. May force them to utilize retaliation on it. So I'm very happy that they attack Slime more there. I think what we'll do is we'll flip Leia, we'll Cinta, show the disciplinary, and take out Sly. And so our hand is shaping up nicely. So we will deploy, we'll play Cinta, we'll get an attack in here. And we'll disclose to finish it off. They have retaliation. So we'll have to think about when they might use it. So we're going to try and delay base attacks for as long as we can to make them use resources so they can't retaliate. So I think in this scenario, we're actually trading with the lurking snub. And getting the restore. So they have nothing to retaliate. We haven't hit base. That's not great. We'll claim. I do like the aggressive negotiation. We will go ahead and play the nimble prowess to tap that guy. So it prevents the first damage it takes. First time this. So we are actually going to utilize our heroic arc to damage it. It's just too powerful of a card. So we'll play our heroic arc. It'll prevent the damage. We'll attack in there. We'll restore. We'll disclose. Four damage takes us to 7, even with a token. So we'll put it here. We'll get this guy out. Oh. Hmm. We're just going to build out our board with Sentinels. We'll probably stop resourcing after this turn. I think that we'll start to build up in the aggressive negotiation as a game ender. Those are some great cards to get. Actually, sorry. See if we can get value out of this. Why not? We get an extra restore, right? All the different things. So now we are getting close to lethal. In fact, we can swing for 5 from this combination. So we just need one more attack in from something. Okay. That's still not going to help. It does help. Sorry, it does help, but we are going to have lethal here. And we are healing, so they can do 17 damage, but we are going to keep pouring in. We have restore activated. And so the aggressive negotiation finishes it off. I will say GG. So we're able to play around the retaliation, around some great cards that they had. These guys are so scary, and we're lucky to not have a lot of damage on our base when they came out, and then to have the cornet to heal. I mean, we healed 4 that time. We healed last game. Just a lot of healing, a lot of ways to keep us ahead of the curve there. So you can see the power of Leia. Again, we use this Nyamos site. It stores your draft, so you can go back and look. If we look at that draft log, we just played Meaty. He had the choice between Yularen and Sly and Nalase. And you can start to see his pack. So he took the Umaran Mobile Cannon first, which is, I think, a good pick. I think it allows you to either play Yularen or Sly there. There are other options that were super interesting as well, like the Cinta was there, the hidden ship to allow him to go into both, the 2-drop ship as well. I think here is a great choice if you're going with Sly. I think if you had gone yellow here and the yellow here, you could have kept Yularen open as well. This is also a great choice, one of the best cards you can get in the game. So a lot of good options for him to choose from. And you can see here where the Sly definitely picks up more. With blue, the Sentinel is also there, but you want to make sure you get some 1-drops or first turn plays. And you can kind of see how his deck built out from those options. Like a lot of good things in yellow and blue, and we were seeing that as we were building as well. So I was happy to see someone build yellow blue. I think it ended up being pretty powerful. I think he ended up getting the Elia Kane, which is really nice, into these 1-drops to try and build out Sly and get the ability. So love the ideas there, and I think a lot of the cards fell into place. I think some of these Sentinels that I ended up with could have been very powerful in this deck as well. So we're happy that they ended up with us and not them, because we were able to slow them down with them. The Beguile is very strong. We definitely didn't want to see that. And just kind of a good, strong deck overall and fun games. I think that's going to be it for the live stream. Really appreciate people joining. Very happy to not have it crash this time. I know we tried one on Friday where we did giveaway and we had some technical issues. So hope people enjoyed this. If you want to join the Discord, we sometimes post that we're going to be doing drafts in there, or if people are interested in drafts, we can usually find enough people. And just a great group of people in the Discord itself. So please check out the channel, check out some of our videos. We're going to start making more around the new leaders, and then we're going to keep training towards Milwaukee. So thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate it.